Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hello, everybody. We're glad you're here today.
We are thrilled to have you here today. And part of the reason why is because we have two very, very special guests with us. Today, we have Jessica Downing and Jessica Danhoff from our Concierge team here with us. Hi. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
And today, these two incredibly talented ladies are going to be sharing some of their favorite tips and tricks with you on creating a beautiful, user-friendly, and effective website with AttractWell. So as you're coming in, let us know where in the world you are, how things are going for you. I hope that the skies are clear, the air is good, and that you are having a beautiful day wherever in the world you might be. So go ahead and let us know in the chat, and let us know what you do as well. We're always interested to hear more about who we are attracting here at AttractWell. We do have some really, I think, impressive folks in this community. So just a little bit of housekeeping here at the top of the call. If you're not familiar with us, if this is your first time here, welcome. We do host a live Zoom every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And this is a Zoom that's really designed to be a live work session. It's an opportunity for you to learn something, but also get into action and move past anything that you might be blocked in your business. And of course, we do that using AttractWell, which is an all-in-one platform to serve your business from the back end, the front end, everything in between, whether you are wanting to grow your brand, as we'll talk about today with creating beautiful websites, if you want to create nurture sequences, sales funnels, you name it. You want to serve your clients, serve them well, and not use 27 different platforms to do it, we've got you covered. So if you want to join us, if you're watching this as a recording, you'd like to join us for a future live session, you can go to attractwell.com/office hours to be the first to know about upcoming topics, get our resources when they drop, and of course, get the replays when those are available. If you'd like to work together on a live call like this one, if you'd like to set aside dedicated time, you can go to attractwell.com/work review. And then finally, if you are working on your AttractWell site and you'd like a hand, you want to make it beautiful, maybe you want to hire these ladies that we're going to be learning from here today, you can go to attractwell.com/concierge to learn about our incredible team and what they can do for you. So as you're coming in here, again, please do let everybody know what it is that you're doing. If you're not a member of our Facebook community yet, please make sure that you join. We love connecting with you there. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into this. Today, we're talking about tips and tricks for design on your websites, coming from two experts who actually build a lot of beautiful pages and sites on the AttractWell platform, starting with Jessica Danhoff. Hi, Jessica. Where are you from and what do you do?
Yes, hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. So I'm from Dickinson, North Dakota, so almost western half of North Dakota, almost Montana. I love North Dakota during the summer, especially because I'm so close to Medora and the Badlands. Gorgeous area. I love being outside, super pretty. So if you're ever in the area, definitely check out Medora and the Badlands. You won't be disappointed. It's absolutely gorgeous. When I went to college, I actually started off as an accounting major, and I went to about a year and a half, and then I decided that I wanted to go back to my childhood dream, and that was illustrate children's books of all things. I love drawing. I love making things pretty. So that's and I love children's books. I have two little ones, so I'm like, I could design a book for them, or go from there. So then I actually went and got my major in art and my minor in graphic design. And then I've been building websites since 2014. And Greg and Amanda reached out to me in 2019 to join the AttractWell team. And I jumped on board and I've loved it ever since. And I've just been super excited to be part of the team.
Thank you. And we're so thrilled to have you. You are maybe a familiar face to some here. You've worn a lot of hats here with us, and we're super excited to have you here sharing your knowledge today in the platform, and of course, with your design experience and your background. Jessica Downing, newer to our team. We're also so thrilled to have you. Would you tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and what you do?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I am an actual native Arizonan, which is kind of unusual out here. A lot of people are transplants. I love the outdoors, love hiking, not so much right now because it's starting to get pretty hot out there. Um, but I have a background in credit union branch management, digital banking, and marketing. And I also have a passion for design. I mean, when Canva came out, that was like groundbreaking. That was changed my life forever. And now I get to incorporate all my skills and help others with designing beautiful sites. And so I also went to life coach school in 2020. And when I got out of school, I was like, I love life coaching, but I want to build websites for life coaches. And so I started researching all things business strategy, funnels, and I also had an amazing coach and mentor who helped me along the way. And she introduced me to the wonderful AttractWell team, and I got to join the team. And now I love being that coach and mentor to others and helping them set up their business and their beautiful websites and setting up their sales funnels and all the automations to make life a lot easier, because I know how it is. You need to automate things so you can focus on what you do best. And that's connecting with your clients and coaching and your and developing your practice. And so, yeah, so that's me.
Fantastic. Again, so thrilled to have you both here, especially, Jessica Danhoff, you've been with us and know the system inside and out. And Jessica Downing, you bring a specific eye here from your training and background as a coach, right? There's a lot of folks who are here who are coaches. So you understand, I think, on a real practical level as well, kind of what's needed. So excited to get into you guys' tips today. Jessica Danhoff, if we could start with you, let's talk a little bit about what your top tips are for somebody who is designing or maybe tweaking a website that they've already designed.
Yeah, absolutely. My first tip is maybe for those that haven't gotten started yet. And that is creating your brand first. And maybe even you've been started, you've had your business going, but you've never actually solidified a brand yet. So I definitely recommend making your brand, finding your logo, picking out your color palette, and sticking with it. Some of the top mistakes that I have seen is someone, like when I've gone into a website that they've already kind of started, but they needed my help to finish making it pretty. And I've gone in and they've had like 30 different fonts. And I'm like, well, let's pull that back a little bit. I definitely recommend sticking with 3 fonts tops. You have an accent font, generally kind of like a scripty, more fun font. And Jessica Downing will go into that one a little bit more. A heading font, which is usually like a bolder font, and then a body font for all of the little text that's throughout your site. I definitely recommend a sans serif for that body font. If you don't know what a sans serif font is, it's the font that doesn't have any extra cuteness to it. So like there's serif font that has like the little extra like hang down things off of. Sans serif just makes it super clean, super easy to follow. So that's why it's usually your body text, just because it's super simple. And then when you have your colors, I recommend, like when you've designed your logo and your color font, stick with that font. Like think about long term. If you think of the brands that you absolutely love, think about how many times have they changed their logo? Generally not. How many times have they changed their color palette? Probably not. Maybe after like 5-10 years, they'll do a rebrand. But for the most part, even when they rebrand, they're not going drastically different. There's still a little bit of their original logo that they have kept in it. Because generally, if you stick with it, you're showing that you're trustworthy. You're showing that you're confident in your decisions, and that people can come to you and find that safe home, that safe haven. Because if you're continually changing your mind, you kind of seem kind of wishy-washy, and people don't like to stick with wishy-washy people, especially if you're a coach and you want guidance. So I did see Ashley did just drop in my brand guideline template for you guys. You don't have to make it super complicated. Just choose your logo, make a horizontal logo, a square logo, because generally those work better in different sections, depending on how you are utilizing it. drop in your color brand colors, change out the hex code so that it's easy to grab. There's a spot for the accent colors. Oh, and let's go back to the colors. There's the 3 numbers on top. It's separated by, that's like your red, green, blue color. So RGB codes. The bottom with the pound sign is your hex code. You don't have to have both of them if you don't. Generally, people just have hex codes. You can delete the top one and just then the gray circles you'd actually change out for your actual color. So then it's easy to grab. The font section, you would want to change the font name to actually be the font that you want to use, and then change the font name to that font's actual name. So it's super easy to grab. Then you have your patterns and visual elements. So like, let's say you have arrows that you want to use, drop those in there. If you have like our AttractWell symbol, you'd probably drop that in there if that was part of your logo. And then your favicon is just that little tiny added element up on the tab. If you have, yep, exactly, just like Canva's, it just shows that that's part of your logo. And it's generally, don't put text there because you see how tiny that little favicon is. So don't make it super complicated. It's just usually just an image, just like your little brand. So super simple, 1 page. You don't have to have 10 pages that explain it. If you work with Jessica Downing or your brand guideline might look a little bit different. But I just wanted to drop something in your hands that you're able to take and use and show up with your brand guideline in case you have a business card that you want to go grab. You can take that to whoever's designing your business card and be like, hey, these are my elements, and they know exactly what to grab and how to use them. So that's my number 1 tip.
Fantastic. And if you guys want to have help with developing something like this, that is something that you can do with our concierge team. And these ladies are really good at helping you build those out. So Jess Downing, what's a tip from you?
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback on what Jessica Danhoff was saying about colors and picking your colors. And I like to choose a few lighter, more subtle colors, and then pick a few big, bold colors just for accents, or if you're really trying to highlight a section on your page. And then also your button. The button is super important. We want it to be bright and bold so it catches people's attention, because ultimately we're trying to drive them to take an action. That's the whole purpose of your site. So making it bold, making it a very clear call to action is also a really important part. And then another thing I do when I'm working with clients, I like to create a whiteboard for both of us to collaborate on. So we're going to be partnering on the process of building your site or creating any pages you'd like, or when we collaborate on a sales funnel. So I like to create a whiteboard where we can both kind of put our ideas on the board, whether it's images or any type of inspiration that's going to help us create that vision that you have for your site. Because it's not about us as designers. We're going to help you create your vision. This is a representation of you and how you connect with your audience. So we really do get into the details of what works best for you and your audience.
Awesome. Just what you got.
Yes, and one other thing I just wanted to quickly mention about the fonts and colors. Fonts, like if you're choosing a scripty font, make sure you know your audience, because I've asked people this all this time, and they come to me with a very cursive font, and then they're like, oh, mine's in the 20s. Make sure you're speaking to those, because like up in North Dakota, like my nieces and nephews, they're no longer teaching cursive in schools anymore. So eventually that whole language will be gone, which is very unfortunate. But so make sure you're choosing fonts also appropriately for your clientele. And then buttons, orange is the most clicked button color. So if it fits in your brand, definitely use that as your button there.
Fantastic. Let's keep it going. What are some other design tips that you guys really like to focus on when you are maybe evaluating someone's site or designing one yourself?
Yeah, I can actually show an example. Let me pull this up. So I like for the site to almost like jump off the page. I wanted to have kind of that three-dimensional look. And so I like to use drop shadow, but in order to do this element within AttractWell, you're going to want to pull in a picture that doesn't have a background. So you'll remove the background and then you'll download it as transparent. So that allows you to put just the image in, and then you can add just a slight little drop shadow to the background. And it just gives that kind of three-dimensional effect. And then also using animations to draw the eye down. This just helps kind of keep the interest going. They kind of want to see what's going on next. So bringing the eye down. And then here is an example of how we use it. We use very muted tones and very monochromatic. However, we've got this nice rich orange button. So it's just kind of breaking away from the tans and the lighter colors. And then I also like using animations like this. And this is something you can create in Canva, super fun. You would just download it as a GIF or GIF, however you call it, and pull it in, and it just creates that movement effect. So, and then here's some more examples of how you can use that drop shadow effect to really create that three-dimensional effect. And even the little stars here, they almost look, so just lots of things you can do, lots of fun tools you can use in Canva that complement all the tools you have in AttractWell.
Fantastic. I love this example so much. It's so beautiful. And I think that for anyone who's maybe new to designing pages and creating that effect, what I want to point out here, because you probably don't have an editor for this page open, but note that there are 3 different sort of ways to select things to edit when you are editing content on a page. And what she's done here is she's actually used the little magic wand tool, right, to select. So like this picture here, this lovely picture of her, there it is, you got it. Yeah, can we show a little bit about how that we're able to create that lift here?
Absolutely. So we've got the edit content and then the edit element and then the columns. So I did start out by adjusting the columns. And then when I was ready, I highlighted by selecting in yellow, just the image. And then all of your tools open up to the side here. And so there's element shadow and then there's drop shadow. So drop shadow is going to be when you're just wanting to put a shadow behind the image or the individual section, like words or images in this case. So we highlight it. Let's see here. Let me see how I have this set up. And then, so we have the drop shadow added, but then I lower the opacity just slightly so it's not so strong. Sometimes it creates almost like too dark of a halo effect. So I just lower this slightly. And then sometimes I like to increase the size of the image. So this one's at 104%. And then I might move it up or down depending on where I'd like to position her. So
Such a nice page. Thank you for sharing that. So I hope that that gives you guys some ideas of like just how much control you have over these different sections as you're editing them. What's next?
Perfect. The next one that I want to give out is just like if you're designing your own site, to utilize some padding and some white space. I've also seen some other websites that have just been so overcrowded and so overwhelming that it's just hard, and it just kind of like almost off puts you, that you want to turn away because it's just so much content in your face. So I do have an example. I just quickly before the call but put together a website. Well, I guess I designed it as well. I just wanted to give you a quick idea. So like this is just filler text, so you don't have to try to strain to read about me because you won't be able to see my little about there. But you see how like all of these sections are just super close and super tight together. So it's just kind of just a lot of information in your face. So I wanted you to make sure, or wanted to make sure that you knew about padding and how to utilize some extra white space. So in your section, if you go to this little pencil bar, and you're gonna open up your tools on the side here, and then right down where it says background padding, and generally in between sections, I like to use about 50 or 60, depending on just how much white space you want to add. I probably will go more like 60 here. And then also like in this image here, you see that there's just text and then text. Maybe I want to add like a little section to just break up some extra text. So I did drop in this image. Basically how you would do that would just be add a section. I did one column, no header. I removed the text here. And then I hit that pencil bar again, and then just came up to the top where it says change background image, and then found an image to drop it in, which was this. And then I just added the extra padding just to make it a little bit wider. I'll make that live again. I just wanted to show you the difference. We'll just add some more padding in this section here. We'll just add 50 and 50 just to give you the idea. And then I'm going to add another image in there, just like I did up here, just to break it up a little bit and give you your eyes some time to adjust and relax before they dig into more information. So now if I save that and show it again, you see how it's just kind of like gives you a little bit of a break, like, oh, okay, let's read about Jessica. I'm going to go on to the next section, versus this one where it's just so much content pushed into little areas at a time. Super simple, easy adjustment that you can do just to add a little bit of extra design to your website.
Fabulous. Let's keep it going. What have you got, Jessica? It looks like you're muted.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
I'm going to show you more examples. Okay, so Jessica showed us like an example of a parallax background, and let me show you another example. Let's see here. Let's go to the top. So I love working with professional photos, but you don't have to have professional photos to have a beautiful site. But this is an example of where she has some really amazing shots. And so we were able to incorporate that into her design. And also, it's really important to infuse your personality. So using words that you would use, like here she uses honey, and just kind of infusing that personality to help you connect with your audience that much more. Here's an example of like a lead magnet. So really highlighting that lead magnet so that you can get people to click and give you their contact information ultimately. A little mini bio, incorporating the blog, and then also having fun with testimonials. There's so many cool templates within Canva, and you can really style up these testimonials. I'll show you another example. One thing I want to mention is before you start any project, it's really important to get clear on your niche and messaging. That is what sets up your design. So whenever I'm working with a client, we always start out with a copywriting first, and I take people through a few templates so we can get full clarity around who your niche is, who your target audience is, and then we start the design process around all the beautiful words we put together. So the messaging is so important. Here's another example of how we can use animations created in Canva. Just a little GIF I put together. Really just illustrating kind of those pain points. We really want to take them on a journey of how or why they want to work with us. Make sure it's resonating with them so that they know you're the right coach for them. Here's an example of using different elements for bullets, just kind of mixing it up a little bit. I love a good check mark, but this is kind of a fun little element that goes with the overall design. And then again, kind of breaking up different sections rather than just putting all of the copywriting into one big section. I like breaking it up. This is an example of like a quadrant setup, just so they can really focus on each key point. Another example of a mini bio section, kind of sprinkling in the call to action throughout. Some more examples of testimonials. Here's an example of images from Canva, but I just popped in one little animated element. I didn't want them all to be animated because it can really distract the eye and take you away from what you're trying to get them to focus on. And then another example of using Canva to really create those dynamic elements to really enhance your design and let it pop off the page a little bit. So.
Those are absolutely gorgeous examples. Thank you for sharing those. I think we talked about this on a previous training that we did together, but some of what you were doing there was utilizing, of course, a lot of what you're doing is utilizing images in Canva that you've created, and then you're placing them in different ways, right? So maybe you're using an image inline in some situations or using an image as a section background in others, right?
Absolutely. And I love the inline feature within the tools. It really allows you to pop in images throughout text. So it's a great feature to use when you're writing blogs. You almost create like that magazine effect with the different images sprinkled throughout the text. And what it does is it just slightly moves the text where you need it to, so that picture fits in beautifully.
Awesome. We have a couple of questions that have come through. Peggy has asked if we'll take a look at her homepage. 100% yes, we will. We'll do that here at the close of our tips that we're sharing here today. Cornelia has also asked, what are your tips about the design of programs? Do I create a slightly different design for paid programs? So maybe if you have a brand on your website, what is your take on sort of how you brand a program? How similar or different might it be to maybe that home design that you have?
I can show some examples if you guys would like to see. So let me pull in. So let's go back to the first example. She has 2 different programs. So the way I would lay out the sales page is keeping in the same design aesthetic, but of course differentiating from the homepage. And this is where we really dig into that sales copywriting and that conversion layout. So highlighting the pain points. We are talking about the membership here and some of the features and benefits. And some people are just like, yep, sign me up, I'm ready to go. But some people need a little bit more explanation. So that's when we continue that sales journey and taking them through. Are you ready to build a life and business that you love? Picture this. And then we're using images of individuals to highlight the copywriting. So some people are very visual and they're going to see the image, and that's what's going to convey the messaging is through the imagery. So the copywriting informs the image, and then we just continue that journey, just taking them through. And then we're going to talk about the benefits and the transformation that they're going to experience by working with you. So learn to manage stress effectively, equipped with the tools and strategies. You're going to feel empowered. So we're going to use really strong language to emphasize the benefits of the program. And then go down to what's included, because it's always important that they know what they're going to be getting. And, you know, whether you're setting up a discovery call or if it's just taking them right to a purchase page, it's still important to talk about the benefits and some of the different features of the program that you're going to be offering. So, hope that helps.
Yeah, for sure. So it doesn't really look like there's a great deal of visual difference between her brand as it shows up on her homepage versus an offering that she has. She's just really taking that sort of real estate on that page to get into the substance of what's being offered, but echoing the same design from the outset. I love it. Mark asks, what's the cost to hire these wonderful ladies? You actually are able to request a quote if you go to attractwell.com/concierge. It's going to depend on what it is that you would like to have done. So definitely head over there and request a quote on that page. Jess Danhoff, what else you got?
Yeah, so my next one, and Jessica Downing kind of actually mentioned it a little bit earlier, is directing your visitors' eyes. So when, like, let's say you through animation, through pictures on your site. So like, let's say you're adding a picture to your site and you're looking off to the left, but all the text is over onto your right. You're actually directing people's eyes off of the page. So you want to either just flip that image or move that image around so that the picture is on the right, looking to the left to the text. And I'll show a great example of that. I'm going to share my site and I'll just refresh this. Right away, when you come to this site, we do have some animation. So just kind of is bringing your eye down. Jaleesa here, right here, she's kind of looking more towards that text. Even her hand, like if you're following her hand, it's directing you to that text. So it's bringing you back to that page, back to that text, not directing you off. We have a great example of the animation kind of directing you right to the recreate and reimagine. And I use that cursive font and that pop of color to, oh, I'm a speed reader. So I'm going to, oh, recreate and reimagine. Let's read what's more. I want to learn how to recreate and reimagine. Another example, this photo of the book here is directing people back to the text. She's looking this way. It's keeping people onto the actual website, learning more. I have another animation where it's bringing you to the goodies. So you're like, oh, look, let's take a look at that. This picture is directing you, it's coming in from the left, so it's directing you back to the text on the right here. Just like I said, animation directs person's eye and it catches their attention, because really you have like 0.2 seconds to grab someone's attention. So how are you going to do it? If there's a little bit of a wiggle, they're gonna be like, wait, what? Let me look at it. What's it coming out? And then results for them speak themselves. They came in at all different angles. So it kind of, again, caught their attention, because this could have been a little overpowering text and could have off-putted someone. But that little bit of attention was like, oh, that was cool. Let me take a look and let's read what kind of results is she getting. So definitely utilize those photos, utilize animation. You can create animation like Jessica Downing has been doing, using Canva and then dropping it in as a GIF. There's animation inside of AttractWell that you can apply. Like I had this one image coming in from the left. It's super easy. So definitely you can make your website come to life. It doesn't just have to be a static thing, and just have fun with it.
Fantastic. I think there was, if you guys have questions, please make sure that we get them into the Q&A so that we don't miss them. But I did see BJ asked if either of you can maybe speak to designing for corporate audiences.
Yeah, I do have one website pulled up, and Jessica Downing can also, I'm sure she's had plenty. I did have a client that is, she does consulting for businesses, corporate consulting. So we can definitely, it doesn't just have to be a coach. It doesn't have to be a small thing. We can go big. We are, the sky is the limit really with AttractWell, which is why I love building for AttractWell, is it's not just a one shoe fits just one person. It's the one shoe fits all. So we can definitely go big. We have her corporate clients here, some of her, so to be able to put those, their logos in there kind of shows that, like, yep, I'm not just saying I'm a corporate, I'm showing proof that I'm a corporate, I'm helping corporates go on. And then we just have her little about, we have her services. She does speaking engagements. I mean, we are, yeah, and I'm sure Jessica Downing, she's great as well with helping out the corporates as well. So yeah, if you have a more specific question as well, we can definitely help answer those. And if you need help figuring out your strategy and all of that, we're also there to help you find that flow and groove.
Yeah, and having come from a corporate background, I did do corporate marketing. So I guess it depends on, scaling, however big you want to build it and what your vision is for your website. Like Jessica was saying, the sky is really the limit. And whenever I have a client come to me with a challenge or a question or a problem to solve, that's where we really shine. We love solving problems for our clients and making magic happen. So whatever we can do to really make that vision become a reality, that's what we're going to do.
And that's what the other thing I absolutely love about AttractWell is really has been built on and keeps on growing because of people keep coming to us and asking us questions and asking, can your site do this? And then we're like, you know what, not right now, but I love that idea. And then we put it on our wish list, and Greg somehow makes it happen with his brilliant brain. So yeah, we're very flexible and we love questions. I love being stumped. Sometimes I will give you like, you know what, I have no idea, but let me go to the drawing board and we'll figure something out to make it work for you.
Yeah, we've got a pretty phenomenal brain trust around here. A couple of other questions as well. Peggy asked, you had a couple. One is, how important is it to have pictures of yourself on your site?
I think you should at least have one. Like if you don't have a team and it's just you that's running your coaching business, you want people to feel welcome, feel at home. And if you don't have a picture of yourself and I show up to a call and you have pictures of some other stock photos and I'm like, whoa, that is not what it kind of might be a little off-putting. So it also depends on your audience. Would be my 2 cents. But if you want to be a coach and you want people to trust you and whatnot, I really highly suggest you at least have one photo of you on your about section, just to make people feel welcome and feel secure and safe with you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I echo that for sure. And we can do a lot of magic with photos. So if you don't have time for a professional photo shoot and, you just set up your phone on a stack of books and some, lighting behind you, we'll help you with that. And then we can work some magic in Canva to really make that image come to life. But just having one at least so they can see your face and they can really connect with you. And I think it just brings the whole, Jessica mentioned on a previous call, I'm not sure if she mentioned on this one, but you're inviting them into your home and it's really allowing them to get to know you because you are your brand. And so, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Even if your brand isn't your name, your face, if you have another name, people want to associate it with a human. We don't want facelessness in the relationships we build. All right, what are our other tips? Do we have some more tips to share?
Yeah, I can share. Go ahead, Jessica.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Lead magnets. Let me show you guys some examples of how you can really highlight your lead magnet. Let's see here. I'm going to go to. So here's an example of a lead magnet. Again, having fun in Canva, you can use these mock-ups and put the cover of your lead magnet. So it looks like someone's actually already looking at your lead magnet. You had some professional photos taken or something. It's kind of cool. And using animations to draw the eye there, get your free guide. Also, you can put a little button at the top and a jump to section, or allow that to go to another page, like a landing page with your lead magnet on it. So a couple ways you can incorporate a lead magnet. Oh, also, just because we're on this site right now, you can incorporate videos in the background. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to bog your site down with too many big images or videos because it can slow it down a little bit. But sprinkling it throughout is kind of a fun thing to do. And that's just another example of movement. Some examples of more movement. And then just this is just simple free download. Get your 30-day affirmation journal. Get your free copy today. So there's a lot of ways you can have fun with incorporating lead magnets. Again, another button taking you to a lead magnet page. Putting the cover on there, just some quick maybe bullet points on what the lead magnet does, and then a clear call to action.
Fantastic. And this actually, I think, sort of addresses a bit of a question that Maya just put into the chat here. She says she hasn't started anything yet. Where should I go to just set up a page to capture emails? So that last example, I think, is a really great one. And that was just created in Pages in AttractWell, right? Where you have an image on one side and text on the other, and then you're using the lead form there. Another very simple and easy path you could choose just to get started is to use our landing pages feature, which is sort of pre-formatted, just like that. It's ready to go, and you don't really have to fool around a lot with design if you just want to get something done quickly. That's also a good option. What's another tip? I know Jess Danoff, you had another one too.
Yeah, my one of my last tips was just don't overwhelm yourself. Like when someone's building a site, like, I know there's the desktop version, the mobile version, the tablet version, and some people get overwhelmed and like, how do I design? I recommend just build desktop first, get it to look good on your computer, love your site, and then you can go back in and add sections and duplicate the sections and make it mobile friendly. I know that doesn't, like, you're like, well, I'm building one page, I should just do it. But if you have edits and you just have the desktop version, you're only making edits to one section. Or if you have the desktop version and then the mobile version, and maybe you have a tablet, now you're editing 3 different sections. And that just is wasting your time. You have more valuable time to get your site up going and to be meeting people. So save yourself some time, just edit the one mobile or the one version first, and then once you love your site, move on. I know some people are like, oh, but I want my site up and I want people to know that I'm here, but I don't want people to see my unkept site. Well, I have created a site under construction page that we're going to give to you. Actually, I'll drop it in the chat feature so that you're able to put this up. I'm going to show you what it looks like real quick. Share my screen. It's just coming soon. You can change the wording. Like if you're like, I'm a guy and I'm not going to say it needs a glow up. You can change this to be your language, your wording. Drop a photo of you, or drop a photo, like maybe it's just your logo that you want there. That just lets people know that your site's coming, it's under construction, and then that gives them a way to contact you. And it'll just be a way to send you a quick email like, hey, I'm interested in your services. Can you tell me more? Or I want to connect with you. And then also it just gives them, like, if you have an Instagram account, a Facebook account, it lets you put your links in there so that someone can contact you in other ways. And then it takes the header off so that people can't see the rest of your site unless they know the exact URL. And then that way you're able to build the rest of your site until it's ready to go live. So don't overwhelm yourself, just do one step at a time and breathe, and it'll all come together.
That is right. That's right. Jess, do you have anything else to close before we start getting into more Q&A?
Yeah, I wanted to add, it's really great to create a custom footer that you can add to all of the pages you'd like a footer on. Let me show you an example real quick. So here is its own page that you would create, and you would put the images that, the socials that you would link to. So I use Let's Stay in Touch. And then I also included this little mail icon, and I'll show you how this works on the homepage. So you can go into your page settings, add your footer to the bottom. And then this one, I used #lead, and I create join the mailing list. So you can get them right into your contact manager right away. And so it's just a nice little option there to get them into your contact list. And like I said, you can add that to any page that you create within AttractWell. So just super simple. It's already done, ready to go.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. These are such gorgeous examples that you guys have shared. I hope you all are inspired and excited and looking forward to creating or having our team help you create websites that you really love. And to that end, Heather has a phenomenal question that I'd love you guys answer to. She says, if we're thinking of utilizing your design services, is there a checklist of things for us to have ready, such as photos, about me copy, etc., to have ready before the meeting? By the way, I've worked with both of these talented designers and they've been a huge help and great to work with. So if somebody was thinking about getting started with you guys, is there sort of like a preliminary checklist, or can we just go straight in and get things done?
I say you don't stress about it. Come to us and then we will definitely give you a step-by-step, like this is what I need to accomplish your goals. So that's why we always like to have that 30-minute website consultation, is so that we can actually, and why we don't give you price quotes on like an open call like this is because we always design and create custom quotes for your specific needs, not one size shoe fits all. So we want to meet with you, figure out what your needs are, figure out what your website needs to look like, and then we'll give you, okay, this is what we're going to need. And I personally use like a Google Drive folder, and I set up folders for you that basically say, okay, this is photos for this page here. This is the copy that I need for this page. So then that way we're able to grab and move content back and forth easily and whatnot. So I say just let's just come to the table and meet first, and then we'll give you a checklist of what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. We meet, we kind of assess your goals, get an idea of what you want to accomplish. I would put together a scope of work based on a list of deliverables you want accomplished through the project we'd be working on. And then I set up a Google Drive with the copywriting templates, and you're guided all along the way. Like there's not going to be any guesswork for you. And it's a very collaborative process. We partner on the project. We do the heavy lifting. So, but we're going to help you with strategy and coming up with all the things you need to be fully equipped to launch whatever you want to launch.
Awesome. I have a question before we get into reviewing Peggy's site together. TL asks if we have any design suggestions for someone who's attempting what he calls a somewhat odd endeavor of designing a coaching website that also represents the coach as an artist. So TL is an artist, musician, but he also coaches fellow musicians and artist brands. So what would you sort of suggest design-wise to kind of bring those concepts together?
Well, I'm curious, like, is the goal to sell coaching packages, or is it also to market music and what you're putting out there in the world? And then from there, we'd get clear on your offers and design the site around that. But I can see so many beautiful techniques we can use, like using that music imagery throughout would be so fun, and just really tying that all into the design be beautiful.
Yeah, and I think too, and TL, we've spoke, I think, on a number of occasions, both here on these sessions as well as in some of the coaching groups that we've run. I think that one of the visual examples that Jessica Downing shared earlier today, where there is the brand that is like the homepage, and the offerings really visually don't veer off a great deal from sort of that hub. They're just kind of given their clean, fresh place to shine. So it doesn't really have to be something that's very far off, I think, from what you've created for yourself as a brand in the first place when you add those offers on. Jessica Danhoff, is there anything else you would add to that?
No, yeah, one thing that I would also mention is I have had clients that have come in with, they're kind of have multiple rivers of revenue coming in. So they're not just a coach, they're not just a musician, they're not just. So the other thing I love about AttractWell is that you can put your multiple streams of revenue into one platform and utilize tags. So like if it's a coaching client, you can tag them as a coaching client. If they're coming in because they're music lessons, you can take them as a music lesson client. Like you can definitely use AttractWell for many great aspects, and very like we said, I would brand them very cohesively, and maybe even you have one that's more bolder with your colors, and then your second offer is the same colors but the tone is just a little bit lighter. And then that way you can keep them a little bit separate, if you will, but still not like orange and blues and then pinks and purples. I would try to keep them in the same color family.
Mhm. All right. Carol asked, where's the best place to make a download for your lead magnet, like to get your free tips for healthy living or a small booklet? I think we're unanimous in this. While you could use something like a word processor, we all use Canva. So definitely recommend Canva for that.
Yes, absolutely. And like I mentioned before, you're making your brand guideline in Canva. If you have the paid version, which you don't have to have, like don't have another subscription if that's not for you. Because Canva, I've had clients that have used Canva, the free Canva, and then if they want, and if it's a image or a font that they want, you can pay for that one image to use on the free Canva. So you don't need to have the paid version, but if you have the paid version, you are able to then take your brand guideline that you made using the template that we just gave you, and then moving it into, there's a brand hub that you're able to upload your logos, upload your colors into the system. So then when you're designing, like, let's just grab a quick template here. When you're designing that new, I'm just gonna drop this for now. You're able to quickly, like, I'm going to grab this and I need my brand color. So you're able to go down into your brand that's right there. You're able to quickly pick it and move on. Like you're not having to always put in that hex code and trying to find those numbers. You also have, like, when you go to your uploads, although I have lots of uploads, so you'll be able to pull off your logos and quickly drop them in if you're making a social media post. Just quickly be able to grab those using Canva. Again, I'm a graphic designer, so I came out of the Photoshop world. I still love Photoshop, but Canva just makes it so easy to collaborate with clients because not everyone has Photoshop, and it's a great tool. You don't need to have a paid version. You can have a free version, and yeah, love Canva.
Fantastic. All right. So as requested, Peggy, I'm going to bring you out to chat, and we're going to take a look at your site together. So hi, welcome back. All right.
Thank you.
So
unexpected, but welcome.
Awesome. Well, I know you've been on before and I can see you've done some work. This is gorgeous. I love the colors. So let's scroll through and get some feedback from our experts here.
I love the first image on top. With the chairs and the beach. It's so welcoming, so friendly. I want to kick off my shoes, put my feet in the sand and stay a while. Absolutely love that. I love, like, you're talking about summer's almost here, and it definitely gives me that summer feel. Some of the first few 2 cents that I would do is, like, on your get my free copy now of the 5 easy diets, is just adding a little bit of extra spacing to the top and to the bottom. Maybe make that image come in from the left hand side just to add a little bit of movement. Definitely, I'm also scrolling on my other computer, utilizing some padding, utilizing some of the movements that we mentioned. I think you have a really great start here. I'm very impressed, and I think you've done really well. Even on you have those little images of, like, it looks like an avocado and some a bell pepper with the parallax. You could even up that up a little bit so that people can see a little bit more of that. Underneath the testimonials, there's just like a hint of it, so you almost miss it. I would definitely pop that up a little bit. And then some of the font, you could even maybe just bump up. I have noticed that like a lot of, like when I've gone to sites, generally for the font type, like for the body, 18 or larger, but probably not larger, but in that like 16, 18 section for the main font, because then that way, when people come to your site, if they are hard of seeing, even if they have glasses, sometimes they're like leaning in. So I would even up some of the content, your disclosure information on the bottom. I would even just take that and move it onto a separate page by itself. And then in your footer, add the little link to it that says disclosure. People can click on it. So then that way you're able to bump that font up a little bit, make it because it doesn't need to be taking up real estate on your home page. And then that way, if they want to see the disclosure, they can click on it and see it themselves. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
I love your site, Peggy, and it's really fresh. Like it's just, you kind of can breathe as you're moving through it. The one piece of feedback I have for you though is at the top, and Ashley, if you could go to the top. So this section is like above the fold, and this is what's going to grab their attention first. And I try to use this section to really emphasize what the coach does for their clients. So there's a lot of ways, like having a header and a sub headline to really emphasize what you do and how you help people. What it does is it grabs their attention first off when they land on your site, and then they know, okay, this is for me, and I'm going to keep scrolling. I think you do a great job of connecting what you do throughout your site, and it's really easy to read and understand. It's just that initial call out, I think, could emphasize what kind of coach you are and how you help people.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I have one thing that I would add here as well. And it's just a tiny tweak, and it's down here where we have programs. I love, and I think that this is another, just to call back some of the questions that we've had today. I think this is a great example of how we can kind of take the branding that already exists and borrow it into the programs and things that you develop. But my one piece of feedback here is that it would, I think, be better to have a button where we're giving a call to action for them to know that they can go to another page, because it's not necessarily intuitive that they know that they could click an image, right? Click one of these two and go off to the program. So I don't know if your intention is to send them to a program from here. But if, of course, it is, yeah. So I would definitely utilize a button here in a contrasting color.
Thank you. Great suggestions. I'm honored that that I got your feedback.
Well, we are honored that you've chosen to be here with us, and that we've had a chance to share that with you. So thank you for including us in your journey.
You're welcome. Again, can I just ask one question before I go?
Mm-hmm.
Being that my ICA is a man, do you think, I mean, I love the way you softened, you added shadows and scripting and whatnot. I do work with women, but my ICA is a man. So adding those things, is that not a good idea?
I definitely say speak to your audience. Not everyone is soft around the edges. Some people are hard and bold, and so I definitely don't say that. I like the cursive font that you have in your name, your logo, I think is a great manly font. Like it's cursive without being too feminine. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
So that would be my 2 cents. Not everything needs to be soft. It definitely works with a lot of things, but again, it's knowing your audience and who you're trying to appeal to. And sometimes men are just more bold and more not soft around the edges.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the personality type. I think more so even than gender, right? Like what's the kind of what's the kind of thing that this person responds to, and you know that the soft versus bold, I think it can transcend. So awesome! Thank you for coming out, Peggy.
Thank you, Ashley.
So there was one more question here from BJ. Can you do that with a lead magnet page, offering the same lead magnet to 2 different audiences on the same page? So I think what you're asking, I think kind of speaks to copywriting, which Jessica Downing mentioned earlier in the call. The design of your page is really going to, or really should be, dictated by the copy and the direction that you want a page to go. But Jessica's, do you have any feedback or examples for somebody who might be positioning something to several different audiences on a website or even on a single page?
I think with lead magnets, it's so important that the lead magnet is leading to the service that you're offering. So it speaks to the service rather than the audience per se. I mean, obviously your product or services is speaking to your audience. So they go hand in hand. So I'm not sure. I think if it's based on your audience, it's going to speak to that group, and just making sure the copywriting is in line with the offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if the path is going to lead to the same offering either way, it may be, if you've got two different audiences that have different needs that product really addresses, then you may actually set up two separate funnels, and maybe the lead-in offer that you're using as your lead magnet is fairly similar for both. You're just positioning it differently. So in some cases, it might necessitate creating or sort of replicating a funnel and modifying the copy in keeping for the audience that you'll be sending it to. Thank you guys for all of your great questions. Tammy did just quickly ask, how do I get the little mail symbol in my footer for an email capture? It's not in the standard icons. I'm going to guess you made that in Canva, Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything comes from Canva.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also, when you go into Canva, if you're creating a footer, if you want to have a mail symbol, if you want to have a text symbol, if you want to have symbols for your different social media profiles, there are existing icons that you can use in Canva. Just make sure that when you're using them in your design, that you set them to be the same size. If you're and design them all in the same design in Canva, so that they have the same dimensions when you export them out to use on your AttractWell site. Thank you all for your great questions. If you would like to learn more about working with our Jessicas here that you've learned from today, then you can go to attractwell.com/concierge. You can set up a time to sit down and share your goals, and then of course get a really clear picture of what it'll look like to work together to get them accomplished. Jessica, thank you so much for being with us here today and sharing your incredible knowledge with this community. Thank you all for being here today. If you have more questions or need more help, make sure that you head over to support@attractwell.com, join us in our Facebook group. And of course, we'll be back here same time next week to learn something new and get to work on our business. So until then, you guys have a great weekend and take care.